This is the third time I'm making this video because it's hard to put into words how bad this game is. Now, I have a huge issue with every single person who's calling this game mid as if that's okay. Like, yeah, it's a mid game, bro. Try it. It's a mid game. It's an okay game. No. Since when did we start becoming okay with lukewarm beer? Nobody likes lukewarm beer. People hate it more than hot beer. Everybody knows hot beer is just trash. But lukewarm beer is even worse to ingest because it's not just bad, it's scientifically engineered to just be enough. Enough so that we don't complain, and enough so that we cannot actually enjoy it. So here's the thing. The warlord chieftain of gaming, Asmongold, said that this game was a 7 out of 10. My god, I'm never taking any of his gaming opinions seriously ever again. He's a terrible judge for a game, man. He is a shit eater. Now, why do I think he's a shit eater? Because there has to be something wrong with somebody who spent 20 years of their life playing World of Warcraft. Now, I still like his political opinions though. Those are fine. But bro needs to stop with these shit eating gamer takes like, oh yeah, it's an alright game. Like, bro, just because people are buying a piece of shit a lot doesn't make that piece of shit anything different from a piece of shit. And I think mediocrity in the gaming sphere has become so normalized that all of you think it's completely fine to eat pieces of shit, including the warlord chieftain of gaming currently. This is horrible. If even he likes this shit, that means we are in trouble, boys. We are in so much trouble. Who knows, next thing we know, he might give Assassin's Creed Shadows an 8 out of 10. His grading system is like IGN at this point. Anyway, this is all the bad things I'm going to say about Asmongold, because at the end of the day, he's still quite alright. But when he gave Avowed a 7 out of 10, I was like, man, are we playing the same game? Or is he just retarded? Anyway, continuing on. Let him be. He has had a tough day, man. People are comparing him to Hassan and everything. It must have been a tough life. Anyway, why is this game bad? This game is bad because everything is done to make sure it is as mediocre as possible. And remember, guys, there is no game in this world who has had a 60 GB patch. The game is 70 GBs, and it gave a 60 GB patch on the 4th day after the release. Do good games do that? Please tell me, do good games do that shit? Of course they don't, because a good game doesn't need patching this enormous of a scale. And I think gamers are really out of touch from reality. Why do I think that? Because if you look at the Steam reviews of this game, they are constantly complaining about the game, but somehow they're recommending it. And let me tell you why that's happening. Because in Steam, you actually need to buy this piece of shit. Now, I had something known as a brain, and I just got it off of Game Pass because I am not retarded. And because I'm not retarded, I did not spend a single penny on this dog shit game. But do you know who did? The people who are giving it a thumbs up on Steam. They spent their own money on this game. Do you think they want to come to the realization that what they played wasn't worth their time? Of course not, because everybody wants their opinion to be validated. And because they want their opinion to be validated, they're going to try their best that they had fun eating this piece of shit that they bought with their own money, because that's how humanity works. Now, there's something you guys need to understand about Avowed before I get into the technicalities of why this game is just miserable, horrible in every single way. I am somebody who really likes to play good single player experience games. Now, I have played first person shooters. I played CSGO. I played multiplayer games. I have never touched League of Legends because every single person who I know who plays League of Legends has something wrong with them. And overall, multiplayer games are great, but do you know what's better than multiplayer games? Single player games without any microtransactions in them. Now that is a good game. But let me tell you something else. Do you know when games were better? When you couldn't get games off of the internet. Do you know why they were better? They were better because since you cannot really patch the game, you had to make sure that the game was complete before it came out. All of these games, these modern titles, are never complete on release. They are a buggy mess, and the devs keep on patching it every single month, trying to make sense of this dog shit that they created. And we are like, oh, Cyberpunk is really good 2 years after its release. Oh, what about the 2 years during the patching moments, huh? What about when it was released? How was Cyberpunk back then? People give CD Projekt Red so much credit for how Cyberpunk became after Phantom Liberty, and yes, after Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk is a really, really good game. But dude, you are missing 2 years worth of context. Heck, 3 years. If I remember correctly, it came out in 2020, and I think Phantom Liberty came out in 2023. I might be wrong about that. Do correct me if I'm wrong. But that's 3 years, dude. You went through 3 years of shit eating to finally say, wow, this shit is not shit anymore. It's actually edible. Wow. Dude, stop. Judge a game based on how it comes out. Why are you giving them excuses? Why? Oh my god, no. I'm like, see, there is so much I have to say on this topic, but because I have so much to say, I'm literally fumbling over my own words, which makes no sense, but I'll stop right now because I can go on so many rants about the gaming industry because there's so much that's wrong and everybody ignores it. So I was saying that I really like to play good single player games which don't have any microtransactions, but the issue is they are all old games now, and because they are old games, their graphics don't really look as good. You can't really patch them or update them except for mods that is made by the player base. But here's something you need to understand. Those games are infinitely better than anything that comes out these days, except for, of course, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring. Actually, fun fact, I haven't played Elden Ring because I just don't get the time to play these highly investment games though. But hey, honestly, Dead Island 2 wasn't bad because I played it on Game Pass, and honestly, it was fun. I did have fun playing Dead Island 2. I was about to say Dead Rising, bruh. So let's get back to Avowed. Now here's something you need to understand about Avowed. The game is mediocre in every way. The footage you're seeing is in medium graphics because this game does not deserve to be played in anything above medium because this game itself is the definition of medium. If you were to ask a mathematician genius, what is the definition of a median? They would say Avowed. Not too good, not too bad, not good, neither bad, just mid as F. And objectively, I can see why people would say that. But let's look at this a little bit more subjectively, yes? Because we need to understand the principle of what these people, these devs at Obsidian, have done here. Every single thing is mid. Now, there can be games where some things are horrible and some things are really good, and you would still call that game mid. But all of this game is mid. The combat is extremely tedious, not fun, mid. It just works, guys. It just works. And this is not even Bethesda. It is okay. It is passable. These words. No. Why does it have to be just passable? Why can't it be good? Why can't I expect more from a gaming studio which has given us one of the biggest bangers of this century, Fallout New Vegas? It is in my top 10 games of all time. Obsidian Studios was amazing. Heck, what was that game called? The Outer Worlds. It was woke, yes. It was a short game, yes. It didn't have that much depth, yes, but it was a good game. I had fun playing it. There was depth to conversations. There were so many different choices you could make, so many different endings you could get. Even though that game was woke, they made a decent game. But here's something you need to understand. The difference between the Outer Worlds and Avowed is that the people who actually worked on the good Obsidian games, they are gone from the studio. So stop expecting this Obsidian to be the same Obsidian that made those amazing games like New Vegas and the really decent game Outer Worlds, okay? The people who make sure the game is good are the developers, the talent that actually crafts the game, the writers that actually write this stuff. They are gone. It's been a decade. Get over it. This is not the same studio. It is the ship of Theseus. How many parts do you want to be replaced until you can stop calling it a ship of Theseus? Or would you rather just keep the title even though it is not the ship of Theseus anymore at all? Now, with Avowed, they copy every single thing from popular games and make sure that it is the minimum viable product. Now, what do I mean by minimum viable product? Let's see. The combat of God of War, the modern God of War, the God of War I really do not like. Now what they did is that they copied the combat of God of War for their melee combat. Did you know that the spells feel like they have zero weight behind them and they are really clunky to use? And I just don't have fun with the combat of this game at all. The only way to have fun with the combat of this game is to just stand really far away from your enemies and just spam the bow. That's the only way you can have fun in this game with the combat. If you use a shield and a sword, then it turns into a really horrible version of God of War's combat. A really horrible version. Like if you were to put the footage side by side of how God of War's combat feels and Avowed combat feels, you would realize, holy god, this is miserable. There are so many things that they have copied in this game. The camp system is blatantly copied from Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm fine with stuff being copied as long as you do it well. But here's the issue. Avowed only put the camp system in the game because it wanted to copy Baldur's Gate. Somebody from the executive team must have said, oh, Baldur's Gate was really popular. Copy this from Baldur's Gate. Okay, but you didn't copy why Baldur's Gate was good in the first place, which is choices, narrative. All of that is missing in this game. But hey, it's a mid-game, it's an alright game, 7 out of 10, right, Asmongold? I need to stop giving him a hard time. I've already been mean enough. Okay, so here's another thing. The combat we have talked about being clunky, slow, the stamina system is tedious. Why am I consuming stamina for light attacks? Why? Why are you making the combat worse than it was in Skyrim? And Skyrim is a 17-year-old game, dude. Why is your combat worse than a 17-year-old game? Skyrim came out in 2008, right? Yeah. So you make your combat worse than a 17-year-old game, and now all of a sudden we are just supposed to say it's passable. No thanks. I will call it what it is, and it's horrible. And that is why this game is bad, because of the combat. Now let's move on. The city is lifeless and soulless. The NPCs don't matter. Do you know when I quit this game? I quit this game when there was this enemy camp, this bandit camp that was right besides the wall of the main city of the first region. And then when I was fighting those bandits, I ran away because I was in low health. And then those bandits came chasing to the main gate of that city. The guards were just standing there doing nothing. And then I went inside that city. And the bandits kept on chasing me and did nothing. That is when I said, okay, I'm done. I'm just done. No thanks. I'm good. I don't want to play this game anymore. I have better games to play. I have better games to spend my time on. Why would I waste my time with this mediocre shit? The Yakuza games are a million times better. And you're expecting me to say, oh, it's just good enough. No, it's not. It's terrible. It is horrible. Because you need to understand the philosophy about what you're doing. You are subjecting yourself to drinking lukewarm beer for hours and hours. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Oh, I'm fine with drinking lukewarm beer. Yes, you're fine. But you are also miserable. So I really do not like how this game looks. It looks incredibly soulless. It looks like another generic game for a modern audience. Every single character looks ugly. The character creation makes sure that you look ugly. You cannot look like a good person, a good looking person in this game. And that is annoying. That completely ruins my immersion because I cannot look good, and I look pretty good in real life. So now I have to play a game where I play as an ugly person who is told every single day of their life that they are ugly. Gee, thanks. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for letting me roleplay as an ugly person. Heck, even ugly people don't want to roleplay as an ugly person in video games. And of course, this is for the modern audience. There's not a single good-looking girl in the game in any of the NPCs. Every woman, for some reason, has enormous amount of face fat. Maybe they're trying to reflect reality about how 80% of people in America are fat. Oh, another thing that I really hated about this game, the fact that using a gun consumes stamina. Oh my god, that was so horrible. When I played it, it felt so horrible to play this game. They made sure that everything was as time consuming as and tedious as possible, which I really disliked. The camp system is where you do all of your upgrading, all of your enchanting. Did you know the difference between the camp system in Avowed and the game itself? that's trying really hard to copy called Skyrim. In Skyrim, no matter which city you went to, no matter where you went, there was always an enchanting table. There was always a blacksmith where you could make your gear, no matter where you went. But here you have to have a camp. You don't have a camp? Well, sucks to suck then. Get a camp. Make a camp. Build a camp. Why are you not building a camp? Build it right now. Also, the camp system is so pointless except for upgrading your gear. It's not even funny. I mean, yes, you do get a stash, but like, bruh, why? Just why? Man, I felt like I was dying playing this game. It was so horrible. But here's the thing. The difference between me and the average gamer is that I only play good games. I don't subject myself to torture, except for this time, because the only reason I played Avowed was that everybody was saying, oh, it's quite alright, man. 7 out of 10. Haha, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Okay. It's a 7 out of 10, right? And I played this game just to see why everybody was so happy with it. And when I played the game, I realized everyone is fucking retarded. My god, what is wrong with you people? Jesus. But hey, I'm here now and I will set the record straight, and honestly, Avowed is a 4 out of 10 game. Now why did I give it 4 out of 10? Because if every single thing in your game is scientifically engineered to be as mid as possible, that means it is probably done on purpose. Think about that for a second. Why is everything about the game mediocre? If everything about the game is mediocre, it does not deserve the mid score. It does not deserve a 5 because everything is mediocre. You will not have fun doing anything in this game because everything is mediocre. Now heck, if the game was just blatantly bad, you could have a lot of fun with the bugs and glitches. Genuinely, I have played some really broken games like Cyberpunk 2077 on release, and the bugs were actually the most fun part of the game at the time. I had fun just glitching through the map and just falling down into the void. It was fun. But do you know what's not fun? Playing the most mid thing ever, drinking lukewarm beer. I'm not having fun, but I'm not having a terrible time either. I'm just in a perpetual cycle of being miserable. That's what playing mediocre games is like. Also, I promise to all my viewers, I will completely rip apart Assassin's Creed Shadows because I am so done with the mass consciousness always thinking, oh, mid is alright, mid is alright, mid is alright. No, it's not. Uphold better standards, have more self-esteem, stop eating shit. Well, this was the Nihilist. If you did enjoy the video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video, I don't really care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, boys.